fans, welcome back everyone, welcome back to another weekend edition here of the LiuLi Cup Weekly number 2. I'm of course your ZvP, and with me I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all. I do apologize because we did miss out on LiuLi Cup number 1 last week. We did miss out last week, but here we are this week to catch up and to indulge in some LiuLi Cup action. Now for those that are curious, LiuLi, who is that? That is Saber. Saber is a Chinese caster. We have been casting LiuLi Cups. This is not a LiuLi Cup, this is a LiuLi Weekly, but he has been organizing events, show matches, and other quirky tournaments over the past 2 years. And here he is back with a weekly tournament with a monthly finals as well that players are working towards. Again, this was also being held last week. Unfortunately, we weren't able to cast it at the time. We were preoccupied covering the Thermal 2-2 circuit, or was it? I think it was the 2-2 circuit that we were getting into, so I do apologize for that, but now we're here, we are back, we can focus on some casting on some StarCraft. Let's go, Papi, let's go. We're here, we're back, and we have our first round. Exclamation mark, be in the chat to have a look at the bracket yourselves. The bracket is live, the bracket is stacked, the bracket is looking hefty, Papi, and we have our first series from the top. Let's go into this. We have Max, he's waiting on the very top of the bracket, waiting for the winner of Rebellion and Triple. Scoring down, we have Lambo and Creator. That is going to be our series. We're going to be jumping into the ZvP between Lambo and Creator. Great to see the Europeans and the Koreans facing off early on. Scrolling down a little bit further, we have Geralt versus Hacker is top. Winner goes up against Beyond in the next round. We have Shameless versus Gersa User. Winner goes up against Rogue in the next round. We have Young Zest versus his opponent. Winner goes up against Hero. We have Percival versus Shino. Winner goes up against Trigger. We have Rex and Ragnar. Winner goes up against Classic, and then we have Hearthstone and Love when it goes up against Big Gabe, Hero, Marine. Shocking to see Big Gabe, he's been vocal about not being fond of online weeklies, or not being fond of online tournaments, and he rarely partakes, but this week he's here. Let's go. I would love to cast some Gabe later on, but for now we're getting into our first best of 3 this morning. In the bottom right hand corner of Incorporeal, we have the German Zerg player, we have the Red Zerg representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Lambo. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player. We have the South Green Protoss. It is a Creator. Here we go. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our best of 3. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Just catching with the chat. LiuLi Cup is fun because usually stacked. Yes, the LiuLi Weekly, I mean, it is pretty well stacked. I mean, I would say it's pretty comparable to like the Wardy TV Monday or to KSL as well. But specifically because of its time slots, it is comparable to the Wardy TV Monday, which means it's a good time slot for Europeans and Korean players. So you get a nice mixture of the two. Similar to Wardy TV Monday, similar to Sparkling Tuna Cup. Of course, with the bigger prize pool, it does attract even more players. So it's a really nice time slot for Koreans and Europeans, and again, because of the boosted price, or because the hefty prize pool is able to bring in a little bit more attention. Like players like Lambo and Gabe, they rarely play in these tournaments, but they are here. So we get some German representation. When it comes to the Koreans, we get who we typically expect. We have players like Hero, Beyond, likewise we have Classic, we have Rogue, like Creator, like these are the ones that we do expect when it comes to these weeklies. But again, just a really nice mixture of the player base. Very nice indeed. For the time being, we have a standard opener, Hatch Gas Pool at Lambo. Likewise, we have a Gate Expand in the Cybercore here by Creator as well. Now, when it comes to our builds, when it comes to our openers, we do expect a couple of things here. We expect aggression out of Lambo. Lambo is not really known for embracing a longer and later game, so I would expect to see some earlier timing attacks on 3 bases. It's very popular, very trendy to be aggressive on 3 bases. From the side of Creator, he is willing to mix it up. He's willing to go for Stargate into Twilight Council, into more Glaive Adept aggression. He's willing to go into DTs, into Archon Drop, into an Archon Drop follow-up. He's willing to play more standard as well into the mid-game. Ooh. Speaking of, there it is, Twilight Council. Now, I was assuming it was going to be Stargate into Twilight Council. Here, it's just straight Twilight Council. So a very aggressive start. Now, this could be one of 2 things. Either a DT-based opener into the Archon Drop, which we did mention earlier, or Glaive Adepts. Right now, we're staying 3 and 3 in gas. If we pull out of gas, then we are leaning more towards Glaives. If we stay in, we're leaning more towards DTs. Bearing in mind this is not an all-in, this is an aggressive opener, that is true, but you can deviate out of this and transition into a longer game state. But now Twilight Council's done, we have not pulled out, we are expecting the Dark Shrine. So we have an abundance of gas. You can see here, Creator on patrol to deny the Scout. Overlord is outside of the natural, the Overlord has not gone in yet, and there it is, as we did mention, the Dark Shrine. Again, the reasoning for this is because we did stay in gas, so again, there were two options, stayed in gas, DTs. DTs here out of Creator. Meanwhile, Lambo back at home, he's still unaware. Momentarily, he will recognize that it is not a Stargate, otherwise it'd be an Oracle moving out across the map. So there are certain tells here as to what's going on, but he needs to confirm, because for all he knows, it could be DTs or it could be Adepts. We do have a safety Roach one on the way, so nice reaction here by Lambo. He will have Roaches to defend, Roaches as a response, but he still needs to confirm whether or not he needs detection. Otherwise, he may be tempted to skip detection, and then everything's just going to go south. Oh boy. Here we go. See in chat, I think we had Maru last week. Oh, maybe. I'm not entirely certain of that. As unfortunately, I wasn't there for the first one. No, shot. Let's see. LiuLi. As the Dark Shrine is finishing up, Prism moves out. Prism is spotted here by Lambo. Lambo does have a safety spore on the way. We have a spore here at the natural base. No spore in the main, but there's going to be detection at the natural at least. Scrolling down, double checking. Maru, he was not in the weekly #1. You might be confusing that with LiuLi Cup. LiuLi Cup is not the same as the LiuLi Weekly. LiuLi Cups are invitationals. LiuLi Cups are invitationals. LiuLi Weeklies are the weekly open tournaments. Oh. I know they sound similar. They're by the same guy. They're by Saber. They're by LiuLi, but different. As DTs, they rock up. Thankfully, there is detection, and Lambo, he defends. He defends, he deflects, he does force back those Dark Templar. Behind us, we have Archons now going to be morphing in. And this is what's flexible here about this opener. Again, Creator, he opened up Dark Templar. If the Dark Templar didn't do any damage, bam, we just morph in DTs. Just morph in Dark Templar, sorry, morph in the Archons, is what I meant to say, from the Dark Templar. And then you can harass, you can poke in, you can contain your opponents, hunt down Overlords, pick off Lings, threaten Queens. There are layers to this, and Lambo is being kept back at home. Now, there are a couple of things that are now available to Lambo. This is why the build that Creator is going for is not seen too often, because suddenly, the problem here with this build is no Blink, right? There's no Blink Stalkers, and there's no Stargate with this either, right? Just naturally, when it comes to this build, it's typically DTs and Archons into Charge and Immortals, standard follow-up. Because there's no Stargate, because there's no Blink Stalkers, it does mean that something like Mutaplay is more viable here. So you can go for a Hidden Spire at the natural base, or in the main, or at the third base, and try to go into Mutatech to abuse the limited anti-air of Creator. Likewise, Swarm Hosts. Swarm Hosts are also viable here as well. Going Knight as Swarm Host to harass the edge bases, to harass the third base, to harass the main base, and to get damage done is also viable. And bam, there it is, Spire. And again, we call that just because this is a very common, very standard response to an Archon drop. As we were emphasizing, the anti-air is lacking here, so this is more viable than usual. So Lambo goes for it. The other option, as we mentioned, was going to be Swarm Host, but opts not to go for the Infestation bit, goes for the Spire instead. So from here, Lambo, he's building up. Now, Creator, if we can call the potential of Spire, so can Creator, right? Creator, he knows. He knows that because he opened in such a way, something like Spire play is very common as a reaction and as a response. So Creator, I do like this. He's being aggressive early on. He's being active. He's applying pressure, and he's going for hallucination. Will he Scout? No! Oh, Queen's in position. The Scout is denied, and he does not see what's going on. Now, there is a window in time where Creator can try to strike before the mutas are ready, as Lambo is banking resources and preserving his resources. You can see here, Lambo, he has over 1,000 minerals. Over 1,000 minerals, he has 700 gas. Like, he is not spending his money because he wants to make as many mutas as possible, which means Creator could try to break through. Now, Creator picking in. Behind this, building up more Archons, building up more Immortals. We have extra gateways finishing up, but it's going to be go time soon. Here come the mutas. Creator, we got to go. We gotta send it. And he is. No fourth. There's no fourth base. We have 4 pylons on the way. Creator, he's going for 1. A massive push on 3 bases. But is he waiting too long? On the one hand, he's waiting because he's building up more Archons. He's building up more NG on the sentries. Like, he's building up his army. But he's all in. The reason why I say he's all in, one, no 4th base, but two, no upgrades. There's no forge, there's no +1, 0 upgrades here for Creator. This army has no longevity. He has no longevity here. It's one and done for Creator. It's all or nothing. So he's all in. Creator, he's all in. If these mutas go across the map to harass, then Creator, it won't really matter too much. Again, Creator, he's looking for one big fight to end the game. His army's looking terrifying. Mutas defensively aren't ideal. What are mutas good for? Harassing. They're great for harassing. They're great for dealing with damage, and there they go. Mutas, they do skirt around the edge of the map. They're headed towards the middle line, which means they won't be at home to defend. To be fair, they won't really do much defensively. The best that the mutas could do is snipe the prism. That's the best they could do, is snipe the warp prism and deny warp ins. Here we go. He does hit the third, and here comes the main army. Oh, that splits. Very nice splits. Yeah, we do see Creator collapsing in. Nice force fields locking down the roaches. The Immortals, they go ham, and Creator is going for the kill. He's going for the kill, going for the throat. Mutants, they get 21 probe kills by Creator. He doesn't care. Remember, he went all in. Good reaction, good response here by Creator. Biles, they take down one Zealot. Roach Warren goes down, which means what you see is what you get. Only 17 extra roaches. Once again, nice force fields. Ooh, Biles, they do not connect. Gets one Archon. Got like 1-2 Archons so far, but the Creator, he's done it. Creator, it looks like he has done it. He's pushing further into the main base. We have Spine Crawlers on the way. Ooh, the Biles, they do graze one of the Immortals. Another Immortal gets started down. But he's running out of steam, running out of army. We have Zerglings here as a response. Remember, the Roach Worm will snipe, so no more Roaches to defend. Only Zerglings. Mutas are doing a lot across the map as we're going into the base trade. They're getting a lot done. Zealots, they peel off in towards the third. Spine Crawlers are on the way, but they're not ready. Oh, that's a lot of Zerglings, though. And can we get these spines up running? Can we pull off the base trade? The army's rotating up. Yeah, the army just rotates. Oof. Spine Crawlers are night. Drones, they try to evacuate. They're getting out of here. Lambo. He does escape with some drones. True. And Lambo, he has mining. He has mining going on, so he can afford an expansion. Mutants, they turn back around. Now, how many Archons are there? 4. 4 Archons. Ooh, 5. 5 Archons. 1 Archon is almost dead. But the Archons, this is the anti-air. And Mutants, they cannot freely engage into this. If we see Creator split up his army, then maybe. Whereas Mutants, they do spread. Nice thumping here with the Archons. Juggling with the Prism as well. It does juggle back. Does preserve those Archons. Very nice control. Oh, the one Archon, yeah, he saves the Archons. GG gets called. Creator, he juggles the units well, and Creator, he will take game number 1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. A really solid read there from Creator. What I mean by that, winding it back a little bit here. So, Creator, his opener didn't really do much damage. I'm referring specifically to the DT and Archon drop follow-up. He didn't do much damage. He gained map control more than anything. He was able to establish a third base, but he forced a reaction. He forced a reaction out of Lambo. As remember, Lambo, he was banking up a lot of resources, over 1,000 minerals, 700 gas. He made 9 mutas, and then he kept making more mutas. That was his reaction, his response to Creator, and that works really well if Creator was macroing. If Creator was getting a 4th base, if it was getting upgrades, if Creator was building up into a longer game, then that is where Lambo could thrive and make use of those mutas to harass, to pin his opponent back, and to max out and to play a game. But Creator, what did he do? Well, he opened up DTs with Archons, of course. He was expecting his opponent to go into mutas, to be very tech heavy with their response, to spend their money on harassing units, not on an actual main army, and with that he went for an all-in. He went for an all-in, and remember, there was no 4th base, no extra probes, there were no upgrades at all for Creator. He went for one massive all-in, hoping to catch Lambo teching, and he did. He did catch Lambo. As we were trying to emphasize, Lambo going to mass muta, he's not built to defend, he's not built to fight. Is not built to really engage head-on. That's built to harass, to build up into a greater economy, and specifically in that kind of situation, that's why he could never really take a head-on fight, and Creator snowballed out of control. GG. GG, well played. Very impressive play there by Creator. Again, just to really, like, I should say Creator, he kind of like, you know, played his tune and Lambo danced to it. Like Lambo, he was very predictable in his response, and yeah, Creator, he baited him into the mutas. GG. GG, well played. And I say predictability just because Creator never scouted the Spire, right? Like that's also why I want to emphasize that, is that Creator kind of like baited him into playing a certain way, and even though Creator never got confirmation, like it worked out beautifully because hey, Lambo, he fell for it. And with that, we're now getting into our next game. We're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Pylon, we have the red Zerg player. We have the red Zerg representing Shopify Rebellion down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. We have the German Zerg player. It is Lambo. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player. The blue Protoss, the South Green Protoss. It is a Creator. In the series 1-0. Here we go. It's catching up in the chat. Creator's going to die to mutas. I think those comments were made after our breakdown of the game itself. So it's all good. Do apologize for not making it clear as to what was happening. But I hope I was able to after the game ended, as to how that game played out. And again, just really smart play at a Creator overall. Go. From here, we're getting to our standard opener, Hatch Gas Pool out of Lambo, claiming his natural base as his third, the unnatural natural. And again, Creator back at home, settling in. And we'll see what he goes for. We'll see if he goes for another Twilight Council opener. We'll see if he goes for a Stargate. We are loading into Pylon, and Pylon is a smaller map, but shorter rushes to spike ground. So aggression is favorite here. But as we mention all the time, aggression goes both ways. On the one hand, something like a Roach all-in, a Link Hydra all-in, a Drop Lord based all-in, like a lot of all-ins are going to be favored from the side of Zerg. Likewise, Protoss players can also open up Twilight Council, be more aggressive with their Glaive Depths, or they can go for these stronger Blink timings without Forges and go for these big 3-base all-ins. So, or even early charge, true. So there are these earlier timings you can go for from both sides. We'll see if anyone goes for it. Go. Once again, Twilight Council opener at a Creator. Now, once again, we should emphasize that a Twilight Council opener typically is one of two things, either a DT opener or Glaive Depths. Both are viable, both are good options, especially on Pylon. For the time being, is staying in gas, so we're expecting another DT opener. And I would love the idea of a Creator going for the same build, and this time actually macroing. Remember, last game, no Forge, no extra workers, no fourth base. Like, he intentionally had a 3-base on followed. He pulls out. Never mind, he pulls out of gas. Glaive Depths. I was gonna say I love the idea of him going for the same build, but instead going for a different reaction, and Lambo being too scared to go into Spire and to go into Mutas, and then have that kind of snowball out of control. But here, instead, he's going into Glaive Depths, and it's gonna be up to Lambo to figure out what's going on, and to piece together what's happening. Early Roach one. Once again, we have an early Roach one here out of Lambo, just like last game. So this is around a 3:30 Roach one timing. With this, we'll be able to get into Roach production early on. We should be seeing a safety Spore Crawler as well. But a big downside as to what's happening here is that because he was forced to take the unnatural natural, that means there's no creep here at the wall. That means that the Roach Warren is not a part of the wall, and that means that there is no wall, right? There's no, typically in a standard game would have a Roach Warren, then you can wall off with 2 Evo chambers, fully wall this area off to make sure the depths do not shade into your bases. But because the other base was taken instead, there is no creep, there is no Sim City, there is no wall, so these bases are a lot more exposed, a lot more accessible to the adepts. So this is where Creator could thrive. Again, Lambo is still playing very safe, thankfully. Like, Roach production's already begun. He's already making Roaches. He cut workers early at 39. A lot of players joined up to around 45 before making Roaches, but here Lambo is playing very safe. And a really good read here as well. He didn't scout the main base, but he did read this well because there's no Spore. No Spore, and he's not being punished for it. Adepts have arrived. They can shade in. But again, we have plenty of Roaches because Lambo cut drones early. He cut them early. Lambo taking this very seriously. Oh, DT, he pulls back in. He pulls back into gas. He pulls back into gas. He's going for DTs as a follow-up. Let's go. The Creator. The problem here is that it's going to take a little bit longer, just because he was missing gas mining for so long. It's a later Dark Shrine, later DTs. Spore threatens the main base. Lambo does run away. There is one Spore in the main at least, but there's no Spore at the natural, no Spore at the third either. So there's potential. It's also important here because the Twilight Council, sorry, I should say the depths have not been thrown away. They were not thrown away. They're still very much sort of, they have potential, I should say. They have potential for damage. So they can threaten the shade towards the third base, Prism into the main. And so far we're holding back. I should emphasize still no spores. The layer is still finishing up. So no mobile detection. Dark Shrine is done. No DTs yet. Prism goes back home, and we're building up on 3 bases. Now, after the early game here, I do give the edge to Lambo. We invested quite heavily into these adepts, and we invested quite heavily into this Dark Shrine, and so far they haven't really paid for themselves. So far they haven't really done any damage, and this means that the Forge is late. The Blink slash Charge, as we cancel Blink going Charge, is also late as well, so a lot of the tech is delayed. The third base is decently on time, but the tech here is the biggest concern. And it should be on Lambo to move out on 3 bases. He's getting a 4th as we speak. In my mind, I wouldn't be surprised if this is just for Larva and he goes for a 3 base all in. Like 3 base all in Lambo would make a lot of sense, especially on Pylon. And it's going to be a tough hold for Creator. Spire is on the way. Oh, okay. Spire gets scattered. Interesting follow-up. I mean, it's once again a similar kind of thought process to game number 1. If you remember our explanation, Spire play in certain situations can be stronger because there's no Blink and there's no Stargate, right? There's no Stargate, there's no Blink. That's the downside of this build. So muted play can be more impactful. Last game, it didn't work out because Creator went for an all-in, but here, Creator, he is investing into upgrades. He's getting +1, he's saturating. It looks like he, is getting a 4th base. So he's building up into a longer game, which means mutas should have an easier time. You should be able to have an easier time getting away with it. Ooh, Adepts are getting caught out. Get the hell out of here. Adepts do pull away. And again, we are so spread out here. Like, these bases are so vulnerable. I'm referring to the 3rd base and the 4th as well. Lambo is gearing up with the Zingbane Road Ravager. Lambo is going to be the first to max out. Lambo, he doesn't have to invest into mutas. He cancels. He cancels the Spire. He doesn't need them. Doesn't need the Spire. He's cutting workers at 74. That is under 4 base saturation. And it should soon be go time. And it's going to be insanely impressive if Creator can somehow survive this. Like, no shot. Here we go. 29 Bailings. 40 even. Jesus. That's a lot of Bailings. There are going to be some Archons which will help. Like, the army composition is good, but the quantity just isn't there. Likewise, he's got 1 shield battery. He's going to have the War Prism to juggle. True. So there is micro potential here with force fields, with juggling. Nice spread here by Creator. He's ready to receive. Spots the army. Oh, I'm loving this with the... Okay. Picks up a couple of Bailings ahead of time. Really nice. Bailings, they crash in. They take the shield battery. Yeah, shield battery goes down. Not really many force fields. Archons, they come in from behind. Mineral line goes down. And we're out of Bailings. We're out of Bailings, but we're also out of Archons. Yeah, Road Ravager's going to be able to break through. Takes down every single Archon. Yo, we got the charge. Let's say, okay. Creator, he's holding on. He holds on. He cleans up this army, but he lost the base. He lost the 4th expansion. He lost 7 probes as well. And Lambo can remax. He can rebuild, he can remax. Creator did at least preserve all of his immortals. That's true. Impressive, but it was an expensive defense here for Creator. And Lambo should just do that again. Just build up, do it again. No shot. Okay. I was like, is he gonna buy health? There you go. Denies a 4th, and Creator should never expand. He should never be able to expand at this point. Again, if we were on Tokamak, if we were on a larger map, then sure, there'd be a possibility. But here on Pylon, no shot. It's not gonna happen. Not like this. As Lambo takes down the cannon. Now headed towards the third base. Wait as they crash into the Zealots. Zealots go down. And with that Lambo, he will be able to overwhelm the army. Again, there's just not much left. He does preserve his Immortals once again. The Immortals, they survive, but it's only the Immortals. They're vulnerable, they're on their own. And GG gets called. GG gets called. Lambo ties up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. Ooh, GG. GG, well played. With that, Lambo does tie things up. Again, Creator, he just did not do enough with his opener, opening up with his Glaive Adepts, following it up with Dark Templar. It wasn't really worth it. It wasn't really worth it in the end. He was just so far behind tech-wise. He did no damage across the map. But again, shout out to Lambo, because Lambo, he also read it quite well. He was hyper defensive. Remember, he cut workers at 39. He cut workers earlier on to ensure that he was able to defend. On top of that, he skipped spores. He was banking on the fact that it would not be DTs. Thankfully it wasn't, because he had no spores for the first prism push, for the first wave. In the end, he shut down the Adepts, didn't kill them, but he just didn't take any damage. From there, he could just freely get up to 74 workers, or 72 to 74, essentially 3.5 base saturation, and then just build up, max out. GG. GG, well played. It isn't just the lack of damage that the Creator was able to deal, but also the map as well, right? The map is even more punishing. We spoke about it, but Pylon favors aggression. It favors the aggression. It is difficult to defend on your 4 bases on Pylon, especially if you are lacking momentum, which is where Creator was. We spoke about it on some of these larger maps. If we were on Tokamak, if we were on Tokamak, if we were even potentially Maganatha as well, like there are definitely maps out there that are a lot more defendable, more so than Pylon, where you can try to pull off that comeback and try to turtle up. But alas, here we go. We're getting into the ace match. Let's go. Let us go. Did he cancel the Spire because he saw the 4th base? He canceled the Spire before the 4th. I'm pretty sure it's just because he got scattered by the hallucination. That he just canceled. Just canceled the Spire. Committed to Lingbane Red Ravager. What's she about game from WTL? A lot that basically that response from Lambo. It's kind of like, don't want to say an all-in. It's just a way to punish, just a way to end the game, just a way to punish, right? Like you're not intending to get into a longer game. That's why he wasn't taking into like an infestation pit or a Hydra den or a lurker den or a hive. Like we're not, or even saturating his 4th. Remember, he didn't even saturate his 4th base. Like he knew that he was ahead, so it was just a way to end the game, just a way to end it, just a way to kill Creator, knowing that he was far ahead. And here we go. We're now getting into our next game. Into the ace match. Oh boy, we'll see how this story ends as we're loading into Ley Lines. Now, Ley Lines is a little bit more middle of the road. It's not as defendable as Tokamak. It's not as aggressive as Pylon. It's a little bit more down the middle here. We'll see what our players go for. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ley Lines, we have the German Zerg player, the German Zerg player himself. We have the red Zerg representing Shopify. It is Lambo. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss forced into the ace match. Tied up series. We'll see if we can bring it back. It is Creator. Here we go. Now, so far, we've had 2 games with different builds. We have had a Twilight Council opener into DTs in game 1. We had Twilight Council with the Glaive Adepts in game number 2. Here, we're expecting a Stargate. Again, Creator, he is, as we mentioned at the very beginning of the series, he's known for these Twilight Council openers. We've casted him many of times in recent weeks where he has been going into these Glaives. He has been going into these DTs. I recommend watching his matches in Sparkling Tunic Cup, for example, in these other online weekly tournaments. It is very common here for Creator, but he doesn't just have to open up this aggressively. He can can open up standard as well. When he does open standard, he's typically more mid-game oriented. That's where he can really thrive. You've seen him go for even Robo openers just to be a little bit more defensive, going Robo into High Templar Archon drop instead in towards the mid game. But we'll see what he goes for this time. Again, creator, he has a lot of variety here. He's not as aggressive, he's not as in your face as Classic or Hero. They are a lot more intense when it comes to their setups, when it comes to the games. Creator a little bit less so, but we'll see what he goes for. Likewise, Lambo going Hatch Gas Pool does take his standard natural base, so he's not going to be as vulnerable or as exposed. Likewise, rush distance by ground is going to be a little bit longer compared to on Pylon. You have more time to react, more time to respond. It means you can get away with droning up a little bit harder. And we're just waiting for the Cyber Core. Now, based on the pylon location, it does look like hidden tech. Typically, if it's a Stargate opener, this is typically, not always the rule, but typically the pylon would be closer to the edge of the main. Closer to the edge so you can actually get your Stargate, and the Oracle gets across the map as quickly as possible because of the reduced distance between yourself and your opponent's bases. Typically, if it's further back, it's a Twilight Council. This is not always like 100%, but there it is, Robo. So we are hiding tech. Okay, so again, this explains the positioning of the pylon, and if you remember, we actually just spoke about this opener a couple of moments ago. We spoke about the Robo opener into High Templar into a more delayed High Templar Archon drop. That is what this looks like. In my mind, this should be a Robo into a Twilight Council into a Templar Archives, but we'll see. We shall see. Technically, this could also be a little bit more old school. This could be a Robo into a Bay, but that's very old. That's like 2022, like era of StarCraft. Like it's been a while since we've seen like a proper like Colossus drop or Disruptor drop kind of opener. Shout out to Estrella, like Estrella. Some of the NA Protoss players would be often fond of that. But there's no Twilight Council. Okay. Ooh, no Twilight Council. Are we going for a slow lot all in? Are we gonna pull a classic? Okay, you have my attention. If you remember, there was a build that was made by, I say classic, it was made by Haas. This was back in 2021. That was popularized, but no. Okay, we are still teching. So Forge and Twilight Council. This is interesting. I say it's interesting because in my mind, if we were going to go for something like a High Templar Archon drop, we would have had an earlier Twilight Council. Early Immortal production here feels kind of weird because we're teching, right? Like, we're not hitting anytime soon. We will have an early Immortal count, and looks like we're going to be dropping and harassing early on, but we're working on that next step as well. Okay, let him cook, Pappy, let him cook. Have my attention. Behind this, we do see Lambo going for a safety Roach Warren here. This looks like around 340-ish Roach Warren timing from the side of Lambo, so very safe. Lambo, he's droning out somewhat. He's getting a safety Spore just in case as well. So Spore in the main, Spore at the natural. He's ready for DTs. And we can see he's going Archon, sorry, he's not going Immortal Charge Law. So Immortal Charge Law here out of a Creator. But again, these upgrades hit a lot later. They hit a lot later. The Overlord is not going in for a Scout. The Scout has been denied. Prism moves out. We're only revealing Adepts. Okay, so intentionally we're hiding the Immortals. We're hiding the Sentries. The Overlord has failed to scout. The lair is not even halfway done, so an Overseer Scout is still a ways away. The Overlord is going to go down. Yeah, so zero scouting. Zero scouting out of Lambo. And this is really quirky. Like, this is really unorthodox. This is not standard. I think I've seen Jumi do something like this. Like, Jumi's also a very cheesy player at times. I think I've seen Jumi go for these kind of like charge, like Immortal all-ins. How many gateways are we building up? We're getting up to 8. So it's going to be a 2-base, 8-gate all-in. The upgrades are about to finish up, and now it's go time. Now it is going to be go time here. Lambo, he's droning. Lambo, he's droning up. He does have safety roaches, that is true, but if he drones up too much more than this, then I'm going to be concerned. He's droned up to 61. He's droning up a little bit further here. He's getting up to full 3-base saturation. That feels greedy to me. This does feel quite greedy, droning up to around 66. He's taking his gases. He is getting a safety Spine Crawler that will help. But we'll see. We'll see if Lambo's been too greedy. We'll see if he gets away with this. Because here comes the all-in. So unlike the previous games, there's no third. There's no third base. Lambo knows this. Lambo, he sees no third. He's more or less aware of the all-in. And right now we need to focus purely on Ling Roach production. And Creator's taking his time. He's taking his time, so the Spine Crawl is finishing up. Roach, Ling is building up as well. Lambo, he is cutting workers at 60, and he's focusing purely on army production. So far, there's a good reaction here by Lambo. He's supply blocked. 5 overlords. Now is not the time to get supply blocked. 5 overlords being built at a time. That is a little bit concerning. The lack of Ravagers is concerning as well. There we go. We have 4 Ravagers in total. They'll be necessary here to deal with those sentries, to deal with force fields. Army's moving in. We have how many? We have 5 Immortals. Okay, 5 Immortals. Thankfully, Lambo didn't get another expansion, so he stayed on 3 bases. Again, he stayed on even just under 3 base saturation with 60 drones. He has a nice concave. He's got side defense. And we're going to be coming in. Force fields are locked down the Roaches. Yeah, the Roaches and Queens are locked down. Files, oh, they graze the army. Files do graze. Force fields, they lock down some of the Queens. But the sentries are getting low. Sentries are getting low. More Zealots are warping in. Files that don't quite reach the... They don't quite reach the Prism. Prism's still up and running. The Immortal count is still healthy. That's still a lot of Roaches, though. Oof. 1 sentry goes down. He's running out of force fields. Creator is running out. Oh my god. Mobile's going to be connecting. Oh, taking down the Stalker. Likewise, does connect once again. It does feel like Creator is running out of steam here. He has a lot of Immortals, that's true, but what about the rest of the army? He's lacking that buffer. Does get the Roach Ward, but it's already being rebuilt. Already being rebuilt in the main. It's halfway done. We have Ling reinforcements. We're just gathering energy with those force fields, with their sentries, for the force fields. Oh, sentry goes down. Again, these wilds have been brutal. Server as well. Creator once again, he down moves in. He's got his Zealots. Ooh, another sentry gets wild. And another pile. The Immortal is getting low as well. Boys are being pulled. 1 Immortal falls down to 4 Immortals. 4 Immortals remaining. We need that Prism to move in. As here comes the warp in, but we're getting on top of the Roaches. It's so close. it's actually so close. Takes down the mineral line. Did lose 1 Immortal. 2 of them are so low as well. Very low Immortals. I kind of want to see the Unsiege just so we can move in and save those Immortals. Just so we can juggle some units, pappy. Wait for another warp in. Wow, those graze the Zealots. Getting slow and steady here by Creator. I mean, Lemon no longer has the economy. Like, there's no longer any mining at the 3rd. So, Creator, he can just chill. Technically, he has a better economy than his opponent. True. He's done what he needed. He will kill the 3rd. So, we have some Banelings on the way. Prism now moves in. Oof. Files don't quite connect. And he's going for the kill. Oh no, the Prism! Prism takes a lot of hits. Barely survives. Queen waddles in. Banelings, they crash into the sentries. And we need that warp in. We need that warp in. Nice dodge. The sentries go down. Bile of the Prism denies the warp in. Ay, ay, ay. Very nice. That, the one hero Ravager denies the warp in. If we could warp in, that could have been game. Oh my god. Again, if that warp in finished, you can see how small the army is here for Lambo. But Creator may still have this. He may still have this. You can see drones being transferred. Lambo trying to hold on. Very close, very clutch. Again, the one hero Ravager. I say that also the Queens. If you remember, the Queens did the most of the damage, bringing it down to like a slither of HP. Which allowed for a single bile to bring it down. Ling's going for a counterattack. Creator long distance mining. Ling's going to be here to deny that. Supplies are still very close. I still do favor Creator in a head-on fight. Oh, herbs are going down. Creator force a warp in. Force warp in. We have some slow mainleys here to support. Sentry is going to be so important here with the force fields. Pins back some of the army. Does pin it back. Zealots, they deal with the Lings. You need to be so careful with those charges. Also not to run into the Banelings. Oh my god. Okay, does split. Yeah, nice splits here from Creator. Very nice splits. He avoids the Banelings. He's getting on top of the Roaches and getting on top of the Ravagers. And Creator, he should have enough. He should have enough here. It's still quite close. We could pull the boys. Yeah, the boys are being pulled. Ooh, 2 Immortals go down. The Miles. Down to 2 Immortals. That was the miscontrol by Creator. Oh, he gets surrounded. Yeah, he gets surrounded. The Prism. We cannot save the Immortal. The Immortal's going to go down to drones, but the Zealots are putting in a lot of work. The charge on GG gets called, and Creator, he will claim the series 2-1. He will advance on to the next round. GG. Ooh, GG, well played. Again, the moment the Creator killed the first mineral line, that was game. That was game. When Lambo had to pull the boys from his third base, when he lost 18 drones, that was the moment where Creator took a lead, when Creator was looking comfortable. Up until then, it was very close. Up until then, it was very close, very clutch, very back and forth between both Creator and Lambo. Could have gone either way. Creator, he was so patient. At the same time, he was losing a lot of units to Biles. I want to say like 3 sentries and like 2 stalkers went down to the Biles over the course of that first half of the fight. Eventually, though, he was able to break through, trade very efficiently, take care of all the Lings, catch out the Queens, force the moments when Lambo had to pull the boys, and that was the moment, of course, when Creator took that economic lead away from Lambo, and when time was no longer on Lambo's side. GG. GG, well played. With that, congratulations here to Creator as he does claim the series, and with that, let's figure out where we are and where we are headed. Oh boy, as the bracket is being progressing, and we have to figure out where we are.